Guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. We're back at it, one of my favorite filming spot locations. And of course, this is another one of those types of reviews that I really love to bring to you because guess what? It's a person that I know locally here in the Tampa Bay area. His name's Corey. Not only is he a car enthusiast, he also owns a shop named Coders. And what's great about this shop is that he helps other car enthusiasts protect, coat, wrap, tint, and everything else when it comes to their rides. But today is a special day because we have this car here. It's a 2025 BMW M4 Competition. Of course, a drop-top convertible, but this one, you will see, has a lot of special goodies, not only on the exterior, but wait until we get underneath the hood. But before we get into this purple haze of a drop top, let's talk about what's going on here. So it's an interesting story about the history of the M4. It hasn't been around as long as you think. 2014 was the birth of the M4. And the reason why the history doesn't go back as far is because originally it was all about the M3. The M3 story starts back in 1986 with the E30. Now eventually, when it comes to the M3, you'd be able to get it and have it your way. 4-door sedan or a 2-door coupe. But then eventually in 2014 is when BMW decided to kind of separate things and have that 4 Series, specifically the M4 and the M4 Competition. Now, of course, being an enthusiast style car, you're gonna find BMWs that get some really crazy mods, and this one, without a doubt, has something that's gonna really melt your frontal lobe of your brain. 1,000 horsepower when it comes to that twin turbocharged power plant. But what I wanna find out is this particular one the must own, especially with the mods that we got going on with it? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this Coders special. Corey brought it out. 2025 BMW M4 Competition. Right off the bat, the wrap. I'm really digging it. You know, once upon a time, maybe when I was a kid, if you said, hey, you had a purple car, I probably wouldn't really give you a thumbs up. But it seems today, because of the different shades of colors, specifically with purple, you could see how you could create such a unique personality to it. Now, at the front of the business, there's some stock, but then there's also going to be some things changed. So of course we have those upgraded, updated headlight designs, everything inside looking really sleek and sporty. But what you're going to notice on this one is going to be all the extra carbon fiber bodywork. So I love that carbon fiber flow around the corner fender vent there. And then you'll also notice that large carbon fiber splitter that actually has the curved up dive planes on the corners. What's great about these pieces is, yes, they look good, but they're also functional as well, because we want to have aerodynamic efficiency, downforce. We want to stop air from going underneath the car, especially with this one having 1,000 horsepower. We don't want to create lift. We want to create downforce. And of course, being a Coder special, you want it to look good as well. Now, as you kind of slide in, as we move our way inward, you'll notice more of that carbon fiber with the wrap looking good. And then we get to the big discussion point. Now, still to this day, people argue, they arm wrestle, they do all sorts of weird things saying whether they like the look or they don't like the look. I'll be honest with you, it's grown on me. And on Corey's, you can see how with the addition of all the carbon fiber, it looks like a freaking IMSA WeatherTech GTD race car. You got your M4 Competition badge. You'll notice behind there the performance cone filters, because we got a totally different intake. We got different turbos. The whole 9 yards underneath that hood has been upgraded and updated to produce more power. And I like the fact now that you could see what's behind the nostrils there, looking really tough. But from one side to the other, just mean and lean in this purple machine. Now, as we rise up, you're gonna get that full carbon fiber hood. Absolutely perfect. Nice bulge in the center, and you're gonna have on the back side those functional heat extractors, because remember, you got to get air in and you got to get air out. So we're going to pull the air in, and then you're pulling all that hot air out from underneath the hood, especially with a modified car, and especially with a twin turbocharged modified car. Now, as we come around the bend, what I like about this build is that it's not like all in to really just make it so different from the factory. So what you're gonna find are those wheels that are plenty good from BMW, with this being an M4 Comp. Love the gloss black. Of course, we got some good tires, those Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires. And if you're wondering about tire size, tires up front are 275 on the width, 35 series sidewall. Now, when you're building power, especially when you get to that number 1,000 horsepower, you gotta beef up the drivetrain. And guess what? This car has the goods. So what you're gonna notice is you're gonna have a beefed up transfer case for the X-Drive, and you're also gonna have a beefed up drive shaft and half shafts to take that abuse of that extra power and torque. And even the transmission, that ZF 8-speed automatic, has been retuned for that kind of power. Now, of course, you're gonna have those ginormous 6-piston Brembo calipers with the bright red and the M badge, 2-piece rotors, and the way the car sits with that adaptive suspension looks absolutely stunning. But let me know what you think about keeping the stock wheel. Would you change the wheel? Do you like what's going on with this particular wheel? Let me know in the comment section. Now, coming down the side, of course, we got a little bit more carbon fiber with that M4 Comp badge. And then from the side of the vehicle, it really looks like they not only designed the car to be a coupe, but to definitely automatically be a convertible. It looks great with that drop top. We have carbon fiber from the factory on your mirror caps. I love the way they work that arrow when it comes to the mirror caps. We have our carbon fiber side skirt. This one obviously custom, has that kick up to channel the air down the side of the vehicle. And what's nice too is because we have those red calipers, it really plays well with the red interior. I think more and more people are noticing that red interiors look good in other colors other than white, silver, and black. You could put it in purple, you could put it in blue, and still have that nice style. Another thing that I love about this being a convertible is that you have that nice tonneau cover. So you don't have an exposed soft top, you have it hidden underneath the tonneau cover. Working our way down, of course, we got a little bit more rubber to meet the road. Even though this is all-wheel drive, it's still gonna be rear-wheel drive bias. 285 on the width, 30 series sidewall. And like I said, I think the wheel design looks so good that it works well with the way that Corey has it. On the back side, you'll notice the extra carbon fiber on the side skirt, especially the way they mimicked the kick up on the side and brought it into the rear. Out back, super slim and thin carbon fiber trunklet spoiler. You got your M4 Comp badge, nicely tinted on the taillights, of course, full LED. And then we drop it like it's hot because it is very hot out here. You're gonna notice the finishing touch, not only with the carbon fiber rear diffuser, but that Valvetronic adjustable exhaust. And wait until you hear it. It's not just exhaust out back, but wait until you hear about the way the exhaust gets channeled from the engine to the backside. But why don't we go ahead? We looked at the changes to the exterior. Let's pop the hood and talk about changes underneath it with this BMW. All right, guys, we have the hood popped, that carbon fiber hood underneath. Somebody just dumped a bucket of carbon fiber all over the engine compartment. First of all, you have those carbon fiber pieces just to make things look good, and I'm not gonna fault that one bit, but then you also notice the carbon fiber strut bracing to stiffen up the front of the vehicle. And it's fascinating because that's one of the things that's kind of made me sad about this generation of the M4 and the M3, is that it doesn't have that carbon fiber bracing like the previous generation. But Corey definitely took care of that by adding the bracing. You'll notice that Mishimoto intake there, that's just part of the equation. So what are some of the other goodies? You're still looking at that 3-liter twin turbo, that straight 6, inline 6 twin turbo engine. Now, if this was stock, you got a decent amount of power, 523 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque. But guess what? This one is not stock. So what do we got going on? You have a catless downpipes. You have the Fumoto Unlock, the MHD custom tune from MHD Tune, Vargas Plus turbos, that Mishimoto intake. You have the Motive Reflex fuel system, because remember, it's not about putting a bigger turbo. It's not just about doing one change. You got to have the balance to it. And if you're going to have more air coming in, you got to have more fuel, which means you also got to have more spark to make that kaboom happen underneath the hood. Precision Raceworks fuel pump, 1500 cc injectors. It's tuned to run on E85, and we have that stage 3 transgrade system to help get that performance from the engine and get it to the wheels. But that's the key, like I said, is having the increased fuel, having increased air, and that increased spark with the special spark plugs that are being run on this. And we're talking about 1,000 horsepower to the wheels, which means well over 1,000 horsepower at the crank. But why don't we go ahead? Looking at this thing is one thing. Let's fire it up and hear what it sounds like. Hi guys, we are inside this 2025 BMW M4 Competition with all of those crazy mods. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, how much does something like this cost? Well, MSRP starting for an M4 comp, you're looking right around $84,000. Then you have to take in consideration the factory options. Then you have to take into consideration that this is a cabriolet. Then you got to take into consideration all the mods. But that's what comes from being a car enthusiast and wanting to add that special touch. Sometimes the price doesn't matter. You want to get to the end result. But let's see how this BMW M4 looks on the interior. To the door panels. I absolutely love the two-tone. It's really working well with the black soft touch material. You got the Harman Kardon sound system and that nice red finish. Door pocket is large enough for easily 2 Wiener Schnitzels and a bottle of root beer to wash it down. Now going from the door panel to the dash, carbon fiber poured on the dash with the soft touch. You have that new updated infotainment system and digital gauge cluster, all one piece. Of course, full touchscreen capability. You got your different modes and everything. Working your way down, you can see the carbon fiber, the AC vents, and then this is going to control that ZF 8-speed automatic transmission that's been tuned to handle the power. Now we do have easy access to putting the top down, plus you have that neck scarf. This is when it's a chilly day and you want to have hot air on the back of your neck. You could do that very easily built into the seats. Soft touch material with the stitching, and then the seats themselves are a piece of artwork. The M4 badge illuminates. Here's that neck scarf that blows the air on the back of your neck. Nice bolstering, two-tone style with your full electric assist for the passenger, electric assist for the driver. And just to let you know, I'm gonna have Steven show the edge. You do have carbon fiber on the back side of the seat as well. But with the top up, plenty of headroom. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I want to show you behind the wheel with the carbon fiber in this M4. Come on over. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. This is where you're gonna be sitting, handling that 1,000 horsepower. Love the M4 badge, aluminum sill plate, pedal box right out of a race car, aluminum dead pedal, brake and throttle. You got your easy access seat controls. I'm 6 feet tall with the top up. Like I said, no problem whatsoever. If you are a little squished in here, you could always put the top down, and then you have infinite amount of headroom. Steering wheel, love this competition wheel. Look at the leather, the BMW Motorsport stitching, carbon fiber, and then he has it set up to where you hit M1, that's gonna be manual shift with all the pops and bangs, or M2 is automatic with the pops and bangs. Now the nice thing is you do have those paddles to go up and down that 8-speed automatic carbon fiber, of course, and it is a manual tilting and telescoping wheel, and then you have that digital gauge cluster and a head-up display. So they got you coming and going in this thing. Now there is a trunk, but I really don't care about it. What I do care about is if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go on throttle in Corey's BMW. All right, guys, we're inside Corey's Coder's BMW M4 Competition, 1,000 horsepower. We're gonna start off with letting the ZF 8-speed automatic do its thing, and we're gonna just see how controllable this car could be. Especially, I'm thankful that it has the xDrive all-wheel drive system. But let's build into this. As you already know, an M4 Comp has such good handling qualities, especially when it comes to the twisty bits. But with this one having more power, that's going to be interesting to see how it handles it. Now, what's already great about the M4, the interior space, well thought out, and especially with all the great carbon fiber. It's nice to have the carbon fiber exterior with the carbon fiber interior as well. But the nice thing as well is with the top up, it actually allows you to have some really good sound on the interior and really hear that exhaust. Are you ready? It's that time. On throttle, here we go! Wow! So amazing how the car just gets down to business, and you can feel that xDrive struggling to get the power to the ground, and it did get the power to the ground. Really allows you to have such a unique experience for yourself, but also have a sleeper of a car, because I promise you, nobody is going to think that this car has 1,000 horsepower going to the wheels just because of how balanced the exterior is with a lot of the stock components. Yeah, there's a carbon fiber hood and carbon fiber bodywork, but there's many people that's all they do is throw some carbon fiber at their car in a wrap. This one has gone well beyond that. But the sound is just intoxicating. Obviously, you're gonna have eargasms for days. And that's one of those things that with a stock M4, you gotta remember, even though it has an active exhaust, they do a lot of things where they pump sound in through the speakers and all that kind of stuff. Having that Valtronic exhaust just opens everything up. It really, really does. But I think we need to go on throttle, maybe from a dead stop, see how it goes. Are you ready? I'm ready. On throttle, here we go! Oh my God! The shifts are so lightning fast. So lightning fast. And then the way the car handles. What I like about the power is that it's totally manageable, if you could believe that. But in the twisty bits, you know, having that ability to enjoy the turns, but also enjoy that straight line performance, that's really what this car is all about. Seeing that carbon fiber hood with those massive heat extractors adds to the specialness of this car. And the sound. The sound alone is worth the price of admission. It's like you could go to Walt Disney World and spend a bunch of money and ride a bunch of rides. This is your own Walt Disney ride that you can enjoy every single day. But this is what's so exciting to do with the channel, is not only to show brand new vehicles and to help people with their car purchases, but also show these vehicles where people have put their heart and soul into them to make them extra special, to make them extra unique. And the fact that this car can easily be driven on the road, you notice with the shifts. So what I did was I went ahead and I put it into Sport Plus mode, and that's gonna obviously adjust how the transmission and the engine behave with one another. And it's nice to see that when you're slowing down, it does those blips, as you're downshifting, what that does is it helps keeps the chassis nice and stable, especially under braking, so that you can get the most from the vehicle and feel confident about what you're doing. All right, guys. What a crazy experience. Not only seeing this car in person, but also going on throttle behind the wheel. Definitely got to thank Corey from Coders for bringing this car out. And guess what? This is just the first of a few other reviews that we'll be doing. Not only on this car, he's gonna be taking it to the drag strip, but also some other builds that he has going on. But stay tuned for that. Let me know what you think, though, about the way that this one has been finished up. Are you liking this BMW M4 and thinking that this is the one that you would want to own? Let me know in the comments section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. I'll come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raise Rise family. Gotta get up to Stephen Flood, working hard no matter how hot it is. And it's very hot today. So thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.